Hey everybody, I just got out of Justice League, and here are my first impressions. To paraphrase Batman, I didn't not like it. This movie was interesting to me in that I was more intrigued with the action than the slower bits. Every time the movie slowed down to do character development or have a feels moment, I was bored and I felt certain things were unearned. Let me just start. The movie starts with Superman being interviewed by some kids on an iPhone, and I thought that was really good. That hit me in the feels. And then we go and we meet the different members of the Justice League. We have Batman. Is he fighting a criminal? He captures some guy who could be a criminal, and he goes, "What do you want with me?" And Batman goes, "Your fear." And then he lures a parademon out, and then the parademon disappears or dies, and it leaves behind these three boxes. Or three squares, and it's like, well, what does this mean, Alfred? And so this whole movie, I was never really all that lost. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I was entertained by it. The whole problem is, I don't know that it's a movie you can take a non-comic book fan to. Now, as people who viewed my videos know, I really didn't grow up reading DC comics. It was the Dark Knight trilogy that really got me back into comics, and the fact that DC published the Nightfall series. I'm sorry, I'm cold. The car hasn't warmed up yet. It's cold out, and I don't like to wear a big coat into the theater, so I'm shivering a little bit. So I've learned a lot in the last 2 years when I've been reading a lot of DC, and I know what a mother box is, at least. Now, the mother boxes in here are not quite what I think of as a mother box. I think of a mother box as sort of like an iPhone that can open up a dimensional doorway called a boom tube. And in this, they were these cubes, and of course it's always cubes. In the first Captain America movie, we have this cube that the Red Skull is after, this cosmic cube. And of course this is all occult and esoteric knowledge, and that's why they tell the same story over and over again. But the whole thing about this movie is like, well, I could follow the story. Steppenwolf is the bad guy. I heard some people say, oh, the villain is forgettable. I thought he was okay. I thought he was a good villain. And, I know very little about Steppenwolf, but as we've been going through the Dark Side War, we've seen that character, so I feel I have a grasp of him. I wasn't all that confused, and when I was confused, I was entertained, so I didn't care that I was confused. But overall, and I saw this on a Sunday night. I looked for a poster of the movie within the theater. If you saw my Thor first impressions, I took a snapshot of me with the poster to use as a thumbnail because that's easy. I could not find that, and so I took a picture of me outside the theater. They had and I don't think it'll turn out, but at any rate, it's a Sunday night, so the crowds are thin, but they were an active crowd for as small as it was. When Superman showed up, there was clapping. There was a smattering of clapping at the end. So the people who saw it really liked it. I think DC fans, you'll really like this. Excuse me. And I think it's going to be a hard sell, though, for people who aren't. And I think that's the shame. Another problem I had with it, and it's a small problem, I've watched the first 2 seasons of The Flash on TV, and I like that version of Barry Allen. This version of Barry Allen is comic relief, and he is... It hit me near the end of the movie that this is the role of a sidekick. So they basically turned the Flash into a sidekick. And it's not bad, it's not terrible, but why aren't there any sidekicks? Why doesn't Batman have a Robin? And I can understand to an extent it's because they didn't take their time. I think, and then we have Arthur, we have Aquaman in here, and I don't feel we get to know him, you know. I mean, we do a little bit, but it just, I guess, like, I really liked Avengers 2. I know a lot of people didn't, and they thought, oh, Thor flying off in the middle of the movie, what was that all about? To me, it all made sense. I have the bigger context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in my mind, and so to me it's like, okay, they're just taking a short diversion here to set up the next movie. Great. And I didn't really have a problem with that. In this movie, I mean, I know there's going to be an Aquaman movie, but it would have been nice to have the Aquaman movie before we had this movie, if you know what I'm saying. So it's a mixed review. The last I saw on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting 39%. I think if you know these characters, if you're a fan of DC, if you've read these books growing up, you'll enjoy this movie. It'll be good. I don't know about bringing your spouse or girlfriend who isn't into it, or boyfriend who isn't into the comics. I think they'll be lost. I didn't feel that lost. I didn't see Batman versus Superman. I'm gonna get it now, but I didn't feel lost because of that. I felt like I knew what was going on because I've read the books, and I just wonder how people who haven't read the books are gonna feel about it. Overall, it was a good movie. I know it would be a hard sell for my friends who aren't into comic books. So that's, and I think Thor, once they settled in and got past the point that, you know, that it's a Thor movie or a superhero movie, I think they would be fine with it. I think the same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. We all saw Iron Man 2 together. We all enjoyed it. So I think comic book movies can be done for mass appeal. I think they have been being done for mass appeal for years now. You know, just even prior to the MCU. Let me know if you took somebody to this movie, because I don't expect somebody who isn't into comic books to be watching my channel. So if you happen to see this and you took your significant other who isn't all that into comic books, but maybe they like the MCU or, you know, other superhero or comic book based movies, I'd like to know what they thought of this. I think that's the review. You know, this is the review you're getting from me, a comic book fan. The review I need is from the non-comic book fan who's enjoyed like other comic book movies. So let me know down in the comments. I keep saying comments. Comments section, and I'm going to draw this to a close. I think this is going to just be my review. It's not just first impressions. I want to see this movie again because I know there's a deeper subtext here, and I enjoyed that. That's one of the things that kept me interested in the movie. There were certain things, like when Lois and Clark are reunited, that felt unearned to me. I felt they were going for feels, and I didn't feel anything. I felt something when Superman was talking to the kids at the beginning. I don't know what the difference is. You know, Lois Lane, it was nice that she was in the movie. She sort of ends the movie. There's a nice after credits scene with the Flash and Superman. I thought that was really nice. That got me in the feels too. Then you have this other thing at the end with Lex Luthor, you know, the final end credits scene. And, you know, I can't remember that guy's name. It's not Eisner. But anyways, yeah, he's probably not a very good Lex Luthor. But they squandered the death of Superman story anyway, so what difference does it make? So, you know, Wonder Woman was good. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. There was a poster for Wonder Woman, and I'm thinking, is there coming a Wonder Woman 2 movie next June? I don't think so. I'll have to look that up. But there was a Wonder Woman poster where the Justice League poster was last week. Not last week, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, whenever I came to see Thor. There was a Justice League poster in there then. Now it's gone. What's going on? Okay, and that kind of bothers me. I need the poster to take a picture with so I can have an easy thumbnail. Anyways, yep, gonna bring this to a close. If you saw Justice League, let me. Okay, I should be clear. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I would give it 60%. 6 out of 10, maybe 65. It's fun for a comic book fan. Some of the choices confuse me, perplex me, but overall the team got together good. The actors' chemistry, I think near the end of the movie I was thinking all the pieces are here except competence. And the actors were competent. I enjoyed all the performances except well, Flash, I enjoyed his performance. I just had to shift into a different mode for it, so I don't have much criticism there. Aquaman, I didn't really know. They gave us maybe a little bit when Diana was secretly put the lasso on him, and what's with that? That seems pretty unethical to me. And that's the other thing, is Diana apparently has not been seen since World War I. What's up with that? Batman's been doing stuff for 20 years according to this movie, and Superman's been around for since 2010. And so Wonder Woman's just been hiding until Batman versus Superman. Okay. I don't know, I think competence is what they need. So okay, we're gonna bring this to a close. Remember to subscribe, hit the like button, tell me what you thought of Justice League down in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. I'm gonna try to have cap off Justice League week with a From the Pile sometime tomorrow or Tuesday. And again, I love you guys. And if you went to this movie, I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's enjoyable. It's not the greatest movie, but it's not terrible. It's probably not 39%. I would say 60, maybe 50 at the lowest, but I would say 60, 65% is fair for the comic book fan. If people are giving it lower, maybe, they've never read the books. I can see a lot of this being confusing. Okay, well, I could go on for that forever, but thank you very much. Subscribe, comment. Talk to you soon.